Hello everyone, and welcome to the Darwin Studio. Our mission is to put adventure back into science and learning. My name is Stewart McPherson, and over the next 100 weeks we're going to be exploring the natural world and the research and discoveries of Charles Darwin. Well, firstly, who is Charles Darwin and what did he do? You might have seen this photo of Darwin before. He's famous as the man that sailed around the world on the ship HMS Beagle. It's that voyage which our Darwin200 project is currently following. Our ship is sailing in Charles Darwin's wake and is currently off Tenerife in the Canary Islands. Darwin went on to write a book called On the Origin of Species, which put forward the theory of evolution. This has been described as the biggest single thought in the history of human thinking, and it changed our understanding of our place in the natural world. But he was only 22 years old when he stepped aboard HMS Beagle. And evolution wasn't the only subject that he studied. And during that voyage, he studied a whole range of animals and wrote a series of publications on the zoology that he observed during the Beagle voyage. He then went on to study coral reefs and how coral atolls are formed. So this is a very important work that provided the basis of our understanding. And we've got several experiments that you can do about that subject coming up. He wrote a series of publications on the geology of volcanic islands and other subjects relating to the geology he observed. He then spent many years studying barnacles. Now, this might seem like a strange subject to study, but barnacles were very curious. In the early 19th century, people didn't really know where they had evolved from and which group of animals they belonged to. Darwin studied these animals and traced their fossil record back through millions and millions of years, and noticed and observed and documented how they had evolved from crustaceans that had become stuck to rocks using their filter feeding apparatus and their limbs to get their food from the water. So this was a very important study that provided the evidence for his evolutionary thinking. He then went on to write this extremely important book on the origin of species, and this changed our understanding of everything in the natural world. This is one of the most important books written in history. He then focused on plants and did a series of publications looking at the fertilisation and pollination of orchids and other plants. So several books that also then covered the power of movement in certain plants and the stimuli that cause plants to move in different ways. He then went on to publish this book, Insectivorous Plants. After 15 years of study, he accumulated evidence to show that certain plants can capture and kill insects and derive nutrients. So he literally founded the theory of carnivorous plants. Towards the end of his life, he wrote 2 books on humans, on people, looking firstly at how expressions in humans and animals convey emotions. So for example, if I smile and I'm happy, I express that emotion, or if I'm sad, how that expresses anger or aggression. He wrote another book called The Descent of Man, and then moved on to study a very humble subject in the later years of his life, looking at how earthworms create soil. And we've got an experiment dedicated to this coming up. Over the next 100 weeks, we've got one experiment a week beaming out to you so you can replicate these in your school or in your classroom. In the following sessions, we'll present the results of those experiments and award prizes for those that take part. So we really hope you'll join our programme of experiments and activities. Our first experiment concerns ocean acidification and the impact of increasing acidity on coral and mollusks. Next week, we look at the ideas behind the theory of evolution and natural selection. Then coming up, we've got carnivorous plants, Komodo dragons, and a whole range of other subjects. To explain each experiment, we're launching an instruction video and a downloadable PDF with all of the information you need to replicate each experiment at home or in your classroom. Then you've got 2 weeks to upload your results before we announce the winners. We really hope that you'll take part in these experiments and enjoy learning about Charles Darwin's research and discoveries. Good luck, and for more information, visit www.darwin200.com for details.